Welcome to the first episode of The Home Stretch. I'm Alex Symonds. In the next half hour, we will stretch our legs a bit, hence the name, giving you the in-depth look into sports stories that you usually don't get. Citius, Altius, Fortius. The trio of Latin words symbolize the mantra of the Olympic Games: faster, higher, stronger. For the athletes at the U.S. Olympic trials, hope abounds that training can prepare each to grab one of the 529 tickets to London for the 2012 Summer Olympics. We start the home stretch with an in-depth look at three area athletes and their quest to earn one of those spots. Full of scenic trails and diverse paths connecting to Knocknolls Park, DuPage River Park is a popular Naperville running and biking spot. It also served as a scene for a transformation, where a 13-year-old high school freshman became a world-class distance runner.
My parents made me, because one of the mothers on the basketball team I was on thought I should do it, and they wanted me to do something, so they made me do it.
So were you resistant at all?
Yeah.
But as a freshman, he kind of blended in. He didn't really stand out as a very good runner. He stood out as a good leader and a good person. It was an amazing transformation. I don't think I've ever, in fact, I know I haven't, I've coached a young man who's improved that much over their high school career.
A lineup regular as a sophomore, Derek finished in the top 50 at the 2005 Illinois State Cross Country Meet. Junior year brought a third-place individual finish and ninth place for the Wildcats. In 2007, Derek and his team entered the cross-country stratosphere.
And the winner by 20 seconds, the first ever 3A boys champion, 13:52 under the 14-minute mark, Naperville, Nicola Valley, Chris Derrick.
His 13:52 is the second fastest time at Detweiler Park, 1.4 seconds behind 1972 state champion Craig Virgin. The accolades continued: Nike Individual and Team National Champion and the Gatorade National Boys Cross Country Runner of the Year, due in part to work put in on these trails.
Chris never took any shortcuts, and what was cool about it is other guys started following him. And that's why, you know, in 2007 we had such a great team, is that Chris led that cause. I mean, he led that commitment to doing those little things correctly.
Success followed at Stanford. 14 All-America certificates, 3 school records, and 3 NCAA runner-up finishes. Derek is one of just 6 men to finish in the top 10 at cross-country nationals in 4 straight seasons. Some consider him the best college runner to never win a national title.
The frustration of Chris Derrick coming so close to win an NCAA indoor title.
I don't know how true that is. Like, people are always tend to think more highly of people that are, just graduated or whatever than, I'm sure there's someone in the annals of history was more distinguished than me. But yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of sucks. But hey, at least I'm the best of the scrubs, so.
After running his final collegiate race, Derek began thinking about Eugene, Oregon, where a top 3 finish at the Olympic trials would earn him a spot on Team USA and punch a ticket to London. At the place known as Track Town, you could say Chris Derrick was at a disadvantage. Race favorite and American record holder Galen Rupp had the benefit of running on his home track and was hoping to help training partner Dathan Ritzenheim qualify by setting a breakneck pace. As the race took shape, Derrick sat in the back biding his time. His old coach was watching it unfold from the stands.
Now I'm not coaching him, I don't get as nervous, and I can sit back and kind of watch it all play out. He did sit in the far back of the pack there for a while, but that was his strategy going in, and he was always in touch. He could always see that he was going to move up gradually to stay in touch with those leaders.
In second, Matt Tegenkamp has joined the leaders now in 3rd place. Then it's a little gap back to Aaron Braun, then Chris Derrick.
For Derek, there wasn't enough left in the tank.
I mean, at that point, it was kind of like a, well shoot moment, because I was working very hard, and he moved up pretty easily, and I kind of knew that I didn't have it quite in me to cover that.
The home straightaway for what amounts to a victory lap. He gives a wave to the crowd, and he will gives a wave to the crowd.
The Stanford graduate eventually finished 4th in 27 minutes 40 seconds, one spot shy of the magic number that would have sent him across the pond. But Derek held his head high after the race. He's still on an even keel now, nearly a month later.
I've thought about the race a fair amount since. I think there were probably some things I could have done differently. But it's easy to think that now, like I'm not suffering right now, so it's easy to be more objective and or to project abilities on myself that maybe I didn't quite have at the time.
And now he's back, where the journey began.
This area is just so revered by us. I don't know, it's funny. I've actually dreamt about maybe someday there'll be a statue of Chris Derrick over there at Knocknose Park.
He told us he's dreamed that there would be a Chris Derrick statue, maybe someday at Knocknose Park.
Yeah, I think I'll probably have to make the Olympic team first in order for that to happen. So right now there's I don't think you can put best runner never to win an NCAA championship on a statue. I don't think that quite stirs the emotions like some other things. So I'll have to achieve some more mainstream success before then.
Perhaps in Rio de Janeiro in 2016.
Kevin Cordes, NCAA champion, freshman at Arizona.
For another NEQA graduate, the NCAA title Chris Derrick was left chasing came early in his career in the Pac-12. Cordes found himself in Omaha at the Olympic trials just down the pool deck from a familiar face. Florida Gator Matt Elliott and Cordes had a trio of intense battles at the IHSA state meet. After Cordes won the breaststroke title in 2009, Elliott got the upper hand in 2010 and 11.
It was just cool to see it happen and being able to race each other. Again, it's at Olympic trials. It's pretty cool thing.
Not many would be so ho-hum as the 18-year-old Cordes after the year he had at Arizona. After breaking out at the Texas Invite, Cordes went on a whirlwind tour of the college scene, taking down an American record in the 100 breaststroke, winning an NCAA title in the same event and a relay, along with being named UA's Male Freshman Athlete of the Year. The usually unflappable freshman admits the record was a surprise.
I mean, it's just like I can't believe it right now because it's been like watching swimming my whole life and seeing people with American records, and like now I have one, and it's just like I can't really describe it, but it's just like, wow, that's actually happening right now.
From there, it was time to start training long course, and for what 12 months ago would have seemed like a long shot to make the Olympic team. After finishing in the top 8 to qualify for the finals, Cordes was up against Olympic veterans and a bit starstruck.
I remember back in like 04, I think I was like 10, Brendan Hansen came to Naperville for a little camp, and I was there, and now just being able to race him was pretty awesome.
You could say Cordes' start was awesome as well. 25 meters out, he was in the lead.
There's Kevin Cordes, second from the bottom in lane 7, who got off to a good start.
At the turn, same story, everything going to plan. But with 25 meters to go, he was left hanging on.
Just to get ahead and just be able to race on the way home and try to squeak out one of the top 2 spots. But unfortunately, I couldn't hold it together on the last 25, so I went for it, and that was the plan, so there's nothing I could do about it.
The feeling still stings for Cordes. He missed an Olympic berth by 44/100ths of a second. The one time he watched the replay, he found himself hoping for a different ending.
I'm trying to cheer myself on, go, even though I know I'm not gonna get first or second, but it's the last 50. It's kind of rough to watch.
So 2 Olympic hopefuls so far and 2 Olympic near misses. But this story isn't over yet. More on that when we come back.
As we celebrate our 25th anniversary, share in the memories and moments of Naperville Community Television, tuning into Naperville for 25 years.
The NCTV has always stepped up to the plate and said we want to talk about things that you do well for the community.
There is not a question in my mind that NCTV has shaped my life.
And the support that we get from NCTV has just been terrific. So we're glad you're here. And congratulate you on 25 years.
For both Chris Derrick and Kevin Cordes, there's good reason to think that they'll be back at their respective trials in 2016. At ages 21 and 18 respectively, neither former Neuqua Valley Wildcat has hit his prime. But for one Olympic hopeful, there's no doubt this was her last shot. Set your clock back to early June for a moment. In a sport filled with 15 and 16-year-old stars, an old woman by comparison is training for one last chance. Skills, transitions, releases, all with the goal of hitting in San Jose.
If I can hit the best routines that I've been training, then that's great, and wherever that falls under who's needed or, the top 5 spots and the alternates, then, that's out of my control. The only thing I can control is doing the best that I possibly can.
Anna Lee has experience on her side, both her own winning a national title while a standout at UCLA, and that of her parents and coaches Gianni Wu and Wajui Lee. Wu took bronze at the '84 Olympics for China. Lee has a silver medal from the same games.
We know how much it takes just to get to that, to a trial, to that. And then it's not like I don't believe her. I just think how much, oh my God, you have to put out for yourself to dedicate it. It's not just for physically, it's mentally.
Lee has made sacrifices to get to this point. Losing her social life and competing on a broken foot last season are among the biggest. The uneven bars are her most common companions during the week because the event is a perceived weakness of the American team.
I know U.S. team need the bars, and if they think they need a bar, they might pick her, but at this point, we know just go to trial. It's accomplished a lot for her to come back for this age and after the college, and we're really proud of her. So we just expect her to do the best that she's prepared to do.
14 women in San Jose, California who want to represent the United States at next month's London Olympics.
Watch the first day of television coverage alone and you won't know about Lee's journey. The cameras and announcers are focused on Jordan Weber, Gabby Douglas, and the rest of the young guns NBC hopes to make stars this summer. And an Olympic hero from the past, Nastia Lukin, who learns in the hardest way elite gymnastics is a young woman's sport.
And this is hard for her. Oh dear.
That is until day 2, when Lee gets her FaceTime on the bars. The 23-year-old makes the most of it. She finishes just 1/10 of a point out of first place in the event. What lies ahead may be the most difficult challenge yet.
When they come out, we'll know who the fabulous 5 are going to be.
At the end of the night in San Jose, the 5 competing gymnasts are announced, and Anna Lee is not one of them. But there are also 3 alternates.
When they actually said my name, I was in shock and I was thinking, is that me? That's my name, yeah. So we didn't really have time to soak it in the room. They had to hurry up and tell us to go outside, and everyone was waiting. So we just ran outside, and when the confetti was flying everywhere, that's when I realized, wow, I'm going to London.
The HP Pavilion isn't the only place confetti filled the air. When she got back home in Aurora, a hero's welcome was in order.
And Governor Quinn has declared today as Anna Lee Day across the entire state of Illinois.
But once she's in London, the Waubonsie graduate says she'll be ready to get down to business, even if she's an alternate, and especially if people aren't expecting it.
Well, I think there's a lot of pros to being an older athlete or an older gymnast. I've had a lot more experience competitively, and I'm the only one that has a college degree too, so it's pretty cool to be out there and, twist everyone's mind a little bit because they expect all the 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds.
While training in London, Anna Lee was hit with a stroke of misfortune. The Olympic alternate tore a ligament in her neck while practicing on the uneven bars and will not be able to compete. Olympic fever may be in full effect, but the planning for another meet closer to home is now underway as the campus of North Central College gets set to welcome the nation to the Alcarius track for the 2013 Division III Indoor Track and Field National Championships. Our own Marc Dahlquist stopped by to check in on the preparation process.
Set.
When the gun fires at the 2012 Division III Track and Field Indoor Championships this winter, it will be the first national championship meet on the campus of North Central College in more than a decade. And plans for the meet were already in motion in 1996. before the first brick was laid on the 100,000 square foot residence hall and recreation center.
Well, the idea kind of came back to when the plans for the building were still being put together, and we wanted a facility that not only would be capable of hosting a quality track meet, but one that would be a destination for national caliber events across a variety of categories. So that certainly was in the plans when we were still, in the blueprint stage for the whole building.
After NCC was awarded the bid, the Cardinals were confronted with the same questions that face many host sites. First, fitting thousands of athletes, coaches, workers, and spectators onto the Alcarius track and into the center where the meet is held.
Mainly it was, laying out the facility in such a manner that you can, handle the most amount of events in a short amount of time. Just how to make the facility more efficient, and where are the best places for spectators, and just making sure that everybody involved with the meet itself, has a good experience.
We have the largest setup in Division III from a track standpoint. Along the west wall, we're going to have bleachers like we do every one of our indoor meets. We have bleachers go all the way around it. On the third floor track above it, we'll have 2 rows deep of chairs, and people can stand all the way around it. You cannot put bleachers up there because you can't stack weight on a suspended track, but you can spread weight all you want.
Knowing they could fit everyone inside, the college focused on making sure the campus and the city of Naperville could handle the sudden influx of vehicles and individuals invading Cardinal country.
Naperville's hosted the Chicago Fire right here in the downtown. We've got the theater. Downtown Naperville has Last Fling and Rib Fest, so we're used to big events, and I think our city government is geared up for it. North Central College is fabulous to work with. They stay on top of everything, and you have so much crossover. So while the people might be down here for a track and field event, they'll also be down here to enjoy all the shops and establishments in the downtown.
We started the day off with our campus safety to talk about coordinating parking and unloading of buses and where do we put things, and here is where we'll park our buses. This is where we can have spectators park. This is where we have our coaches and officials park.
Realizing these potential problems and solving them before they arise was due in part to the micromanagement approach put into place by the athletic department. Instead of one big meeting, small committees concentrated solely on certain aspects of the meet met in separate 30-minute sessions.
We have the capability to have a hardwired feed. Okay. Over on the, would it be the north side? Okay. There's that one.
Brought in our maintenance department to be able to go through different things. Brought in our Office of Marketing Communication to talk about what we can and can't do with NCAA. Brought in our alumni and development crew to talk about how we will involve our alums. Facility and event manager as far as how we'll coordinate the actual volunteers and student workers.
Many aspects change between hosting an outdoor meet and an indoor meet. The athletic department anticipated this and reached out to former hosts for advice.
I've had a lot of conversations with the SID at Rose-Hulman. They've hosted a couple of these recently in 07 and 09. It's been helpful. They've done a really good job hosting that meet, and they're probably going to stay in the rotation for a while.
Make sure you're in control of your own facility. The NCAA will come in and they'll have constructive suggestions, and they're good suggestions, but also remember that you are the folks that know your facility the best. So take the suggestions that the NCAA comes with the best grain of salt, evaluate them. Sometimes they give you a real good idea that you didn't think of. Sometimes maybe you give them a response that they didn't think of. Work as a team, make it a great event, and the other things to not forget, sometimes extra volunteers can be great.
And what makes an event of this magnitude great today wouldn't have been possible 12 years ago.
Technology from 12, 13 years ago has changed everything. We're talking right now about, okay, live streaming the event, which we never could do. You've got live stats, which 2000, that wasn't available. There's no website. So there was no website to even access.
Thanks to technology, these championships are also going green, like the Silver LEED certified, environmentally conscious, self-sustaining design of the building.
This building will have zero carbon emissions, essentially no off-gassing from a furnace or a typical boiler system that we would typically have with all of our other buildings. This building won't have that, and so bringing no natural gas to the building is just a unique concept and probably something that 5 years ago would kind of be almost unheard of.
Not only will the live results be posted online, but so will the meet program. To save on paper waste, spectators, coaches, and participants can only download the meet program and schedule of events directly to their smartphone, tablet, or computer.
That used to be sent out in this giant packet to every school in the NCAA that qualified. That's no longer.
And going green is saving green. But the real payoff is the national exposure hosting the meet will bring to the campus and city.
An event like the NCAA track and field tournament is spectacular for tourism here in Naperville. We'll have over 800 athletes, coaches, family, friends. We'll have several thousand people visiting our community.
The NCAA has done a lot of work with the Division II and Division III championships and expanding the amount of video that they have available for this. So, you know, the chance to reach out and show what we can do to an audience that might never have been to our campus or seen our campus before is always a benefit to a lot of different offices on campus.
The challenge of keeping on schedule during the meet is extended to the head women's cross-country coach and assistant women's track and field coach, Mahesh Narayanan, who also sits on the NCAA National Committee.
I think it goes back to the good officiating and having a good volunteer base and having the support. If something does go awry, it's really to keep pushing and make sure the meet goes the way it should be. I always felt the national championship should be a place you officiate it well, you run it well. It's going to be a great place for athletes.
And up until the first gun sounds, the planning and preparation continue, and the anticipation builds for what the college and city believe will be a meet to remember.
Today is Saturday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Well, Mark, the meet's still a ways off, but seems like everybody putting their ducks in a row now so that they're ready for it.
Well, yeah, this is a very important meet to the college because they're basically showcasing what they can do with that space to the nation. So hopefully this will lead to future championships for them in the years to come.
A busy show for you this week. You're up right now.
Bunt, strikeout, and home run are all words synonymous with baseball. But recently, amateur area teams have become familiar with another word, disbanded. While numerous franchises are closing their gates for good, one local ownership group went against the grain and started a team just minutes away from the heart of Naperville. Baseball, America's pastime, a staple of summer, and also a business. Many amateur area teams found that out the hard way. The DuPage Dragons, Will County Crackerjacks, and Joliet Jackhammers are just some of the squads that ceased operations due to financial reasons over the past few seasons. When the Dragons folded before the start of the 2011 season, it came as a surprise to many baseball fans in the Village of Lisle area.
Last season, the website was popular with the Dragons, and we had a season posted, and we're looking forward to the games because I personally look forward to go out there for a handful of games in the season and enjoy it. Then all of a sudden, the season was ready to start, and the website still said the schedule, and there was no team to be played.
The team had not signed a contract with the Benedictine Sports Complex, the location of their home diamond. A longer commute to away games in the Prospect League and more than 6 home rainouts in their final season took away much-needed funds. Summer baseball was back at Benedictine this season thanks to 2 young owners of the already established Rockford Foresters, as the DuPage Hounds kicked off their inaugural season.
Joe and I jumped on the chance just because of the demographics, where it's located off the expressways, and we jumped on the chance, and we were the only team and only league that came to the university with a marketing plan to get people in the seats. And so that is the main reason that we got the lease here.
I think the Hounds brought something back to the Village of Lisle that we had, and we started with the momentum going with the Dragons. The Dragons had a good following, but for some reason it wasn't a major attraction.
The failure of the Dragons to put enough people in the seats to sustain a team was a concern for Van Swol and Joe Stefani before they went ahead with their plans.
Before we signed the lease and even agreed to put a team here, we met with certain people in the community to figure out, why do you think that they didn't come back? And the biggest thing that they told us was marketing. They said it was the best kept secret in Lisle. We don't want it to be a secret.
The very first meeting that I had, we went out to lunch and we were talking about it, and I said, I think we got a winner here. They were very energetic. They had a lot of energy, and the first things out of their mouth, their thought was, get fans in the seats.
Convincing the surrounding towns was one thing, But there were still plenty of fans in the area that felt the Hounds were just a temporary reboot of a team that already tried and failed.
We've actually had that quite often this year because of the Dragons, the Joliet team, and the Flyers all going away. We said, will you come out to the first game? Tickets on us. Come see what we're doing, and we can guarantee you, after one game, you'll know we'll be back for years and years.
Not everything from the Dragons' 5-year span here has been erased. Managing the team is Sean Osborne, a former member of the Dragons for 2 summers. And while Osborne leads the team in the dugout, Bill Dorn leads the Hounds fans throughout the complex as the public address announcer, the same role he held for the Dragons. He brings his own outside the press box style of announcing, adding to the atmosphere inside the park.
The center fielder, number 18, Chris Rudenga.
Well, I know that there's a lot of families here, so I want to make it more than just what baseball is, to bring in some excitement about the players and about the plays that are being made out there. You know, fans tend to get more involved with the team if they know who the players are.
Playing in a collegiate prospect league, all the players have college eligibility and aren't in it for monetary gain, but for the exposure to Major League scouts and the experience on the field that gives them an advantage when they rejoin their college team. Not paying players saves on cost that the team has put into marketing this summer in order to not repeat mistakes made by other organizations.
The Hounds basically had a lot of people pushing them and talking about it. They were at events, they were at chamber meetings, they were doing a lot of promotion for the event, press conferences, which the Dragons didn't do that much.
We've got a lot more sponsors, and that helps get the word out about the team, because if they're handing out our pocket schedules at restaurants, banks, etc., it gets it out there. And then people in the chamber come see us at mixers, and they're like, this is great, we want to be a sponsor, we want to help get the word out there.
That word has spread quickly. In just their first season, the Hounds lead the league in attendance by more than 5,000 tickets, averaging close to 610 fans a game. That is double what the owners were able to bring in their inaugural season in Rockford. And it's the atmosphere both on and off the field that is drawing people in and bringing them back.
I mean, honestly, it's great, man. I mean, I love it. You know, the atmosphere in the dugout's great. The atmosphere outside the dugout, the fans and everything is wonderful. It really helps you out when you got a fan base that is rooting for you.
I just like to come and see the game. I love baseball, and just to be with my friends and stuff.
It's a local attraction. That's what makes it nice, I think, the low prices. And they're just fun games to come out to because, I mean, it's a local, easy to get here. It's a great way to spend a summer night. Baseball doesn't get any better than that.
And the Hounds aren't the only ones reaping the benefits of large crowds. With downtown Naperville just minutes away, there is plenty to do after the final out is called.
Baseball is the all-American sport. We all know that, and it appeals to everybody, all age groups. You know, it doesn't seem to matter. You know, we're just a hop, skip, and a jump away, and that's always good for our economy, and it's great for the businesses. You know, they're always looking for more ways to grow their business, and having these types of activities are perfect.
The Hounds is very important to the community. When I say the community, it's not only Lisle, Naperville, it's surrounded, because most of the people come around me within 10 or 15 miles to come here. And that's a proven point of view, because look at the people in the stands. They're not all from Lisle or Naperville. They come from all over the place, because baseball is Americans' favorite sport, and everybody loves baseball, especially on a nice warm summer night.
With more sponsors and fundraisers already planned for next season, the Hounds are poised to keep America's pastime in Lisle for many summers to come.
And we're not done. Episode 2 of The Home Stretch is just down the road. You can catch the premiere right here on August 10th. For Marc Dahlquist, I'm Alex Symonds. Thanks for watching.